Namaste guys, I want to cover today Mars, the maleficent planet, and its effects when it transits your chart and what to expect. Now Mars is a maleficent planet and it pertains to action, boldness, courage, destruction, because it also rules the tarot card of the Tower, which is number 16, and it rules war, and it rules Aries, the warrior of the zodiac, the first one, the ego. So what can you expect when you have Mars transiting your house? Now another thing you want to know is that Mars in your natal chart points to how you look physically, because Mars is red, and red is the most physical color in the rainbow spectrum. Now you have to see where Mars is in your chart and what sign is it in. Now Mars takes 40 days to transit in each house. So it's kind of like about a month and a half in each house. Now when Mars transits your first house of ego, which is actually in its own house, because the first house rules Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars. So when he goes into the first house, what he's doing is that he's giving you a lot of energy. It's like a rush of energy, because your first house rules your physical body, your image. And when you have Mars there, you feel more energized. And this is like my favorite transit in the zodiac. When Mars goes into the first house, you just have this surge of energy. You could hit the gym. You could do so many things at the same time, because you just have so much energy. You just want to do everything. I think it's a good transit unless it's like badly aspecting some natal planets in your chart. Now when Mars transits your second house, you want to get busy fixing things at the house. I know when Mars transited my second house, like last year, I was doing gardening. You know, I was so determined to make my garden look very pretty, because it pertained to my house, you know, possessions and stuff like that. And I also wanted to paint, you know, the whole house. I also wanted to, you know, do a lot of things that have to do with, you know, what belongs to me. So that was the energy given to that. Now, when Mars transits your third house, you might want to fix your car, because it pertains to transportation. You know, the third house pertains to transportation. And also, you could also have arguments with siblings, because Mars could be very forceful, and the third house rules siblings. So you could have a lot of arguments and conflicts with siblings, and also neighbors too. So you have to watch out for that. So Mars in the third house could be a little bit bad, you know, depending how you see it. But it could also give you energy to work around your neighborhood too, so you have to see it in that way. Now Mars in the fourth house. When Mars enters the fourth house, I kind of see it like a family dispute. You know, people get into arguments in the home. Yeah, it could also signify that you're probably fortifying your private space and you're tending to your private needs, because you're putting all that energy in your fourth house, where it pertains to privacy, and you want to secure your privacy, you know. Mars in the fifth house, this is really fun, because Mars in the fifth house, it signifies that you're putting a lot of energy to your creativity, to your pets, to your children. So it's really, I would think it's a good transit, unless you get into fights with your kids. Remember, it's all about balance. You know, you could either be aggressive or you could be productive. Okay. Mars in the sixth house. Now Mars in the sixth house, it's kind of like the first house, but it's more of an internal thing. You want to be able to, you might want to be more interested in visiting doctors to check yourself, to be more diligent with your health. You might want to be, you know, trying new foods. You know, you're more willing to try new things, as in new routines, new workouts. This is what the energy that you receive in your sixth house. You're more aware of little details, and you want to get every little detail done. Now that's for the sixth house. The seventh house could also be quarrels in relationships, and also in business partners. But it could also signify a drive to, you know, get together and have some friendly competition, or maybe a divorce. Mars in the eighth house could signify a lot of sex and a lot of passion, because eighth house rules Scorpio. But it could also signify a lot of trouble. Now I've said this before, when my Mars or any planet goes into my eighth house, it's over with. Alright, you have to really watch out, because all of a sudden people could get you into trouble and you didn't even cause it. That's the thing, you didn't even cause this problem. But you have like hidden enemies, like the 12th house, but it's more of people from in-laws, people that really have nothing to do with you or your subconscious. They just show up and they just screw your life. Mars in the 9th house. Mars in the 9th house could signify a drive to travel. Like this is like a need that you really need to get out and go away or learn as much as you can. And I've experienced this when I have Mars in my 9th house transiting. Mars in the 10th house. Now when Mars transits your 10th house, you are very attentive to your public persona. You want to be seen. You want to you want to prep your reputation. Alright? You're very wary of how you're seen, and you're trying to establish a certain reputation towards yourself in your career. Maybe you want to work harder in your career so people can see how you want them to see you. And this is when Mars goes into your 10th house. Mars in the 11th house. Now when Mars goes into your 11th house, you have this certain urge to be more social than usual. You want to hang around with more friends. You want to, you know, be more talkative, you know, more than usual. But, you know, sometimes when you have Mars in the 11th house, you can get into a lot of trouble with people because you tend to want to be right and correct in arguments. And when you're in the social life, you know, people have different points of view. So that could really get you into a lot of trouble when you have Mars in the 11th house. So yeah, again, it's more about, you know, balancing stuff. Mars in the 12th house. Now Mars in the 12th house, ooh, that could signify that you are going to have not so much energy. Because, see, when Mars goes into the first house, you have a lot of energy. Because that's like the boom. That's like dawn right there. But then in the 12th house is like a waning house, and that energy is like contained. And when you have Mars in there, your drive, you're contained. So, but you also have a very rich dream life, you know, because everything goes into your subconscious. All that energy goes into your subconscious. So that's like a good time to lay low and dream and, you know, do some astral projection, stuff like that. But when Mars goes into your 12th house, it's really a time to lay low and keep quiet and maybe, you know, evaluate everything you've learned when Mars is going through all your houses, because he's going to break into a new cycle once he goes into the first house. So yeah, I hope this video helped, and this was Mars transiting through each house. Namaste.